Dig in, dig in, dig in!
Go on, Jack.
So it's the third instalment of our hill climb diaries, and we're starting to get into the groove of the season now. As you can see, Reuben isn't with me this week because he was ill and couldn't ride. But fear not, as we've got BikeRadar staff writer and hill climb aficionado Jack Luke with us to give his take on the hill climb season.
So yeah, this is my second season of racing hill climbs. I got a taste for them last year after I joined Joe and Reuben on a few. And despite the masses of discomfort, I'm back for another go. I'm not nearly as dedicated to cycling, let alone hill climb racing, as these two, so you can view me more as the accessible fat hill climber, the people's choice.
This week we're going to be covering the first Chard Wheelers hill climb, which took place on a particularly tricky and nasty hill. Then we're going to go into a bit more detail about what Reuben and I eat during a typical day of the hill climb season. Second open hill climb of the season. Reuben's not here today because he's not feeling very well. But we do have
Guest star Jack Luke taking the place of Reuben.
We're at Chimeway today, hill climb, which is quite a kind of really fast start. There's a good couple of K where it's almost flat, 25-mile-an-hour kind of start, and then it rears up and gets very steep towards the end. How you feeling about it, Jack? Your first one of the year?
All right. I really enjoyed it last year. I'm not going to take it too seriously. I haven't been very committed to my training, so I'm just happy to be here. Enjoying the vibe already. I really enjoyed getting up at 5:30 to drive for an hour and a half to ride for 10 minutes.
Yeah, right, let's go and sign on.
Lucky number 47.
Having driven up, how nervous are you now?
Now I'm feeling bad about it.
It's definitely a big ring start, isn't it?
I think so, it's pretty flat. Takes me pretty fast off the off. Perfect place to blow up and go way too hard off the start.
Feels like a bit of a headwind to me. Yeah, I definitely want to say something at this point.
Yes.
Feeling confident?
I'm feeling alright, pensive. Pensive. It's the there's no weight of expectation, it's the discomfort I know I'm about to go through.
What do you think with a pink jersey like that? I think there's expectation.
To look the part.
30 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
So, unbelievably unpleasant. Now waiting.
Go on, up, up, up!
Wait for Joe. Telling me it looks terrible, and then we're done for the day.
Come on, Joe, dig in, last bit, come on, up, 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 up! Come on, Joe, dig in, dig in, dig in!
59!
Let's see what state Joe's in. It looked like he was hurting coming through the top there, so I expect he's going to look a bit worse for wear. Is that a bad one?
I held a bit, I held a bit too much back at the end, so I was still getting quicker towards the end. Didn't quite pace it right.
I think I went the other way.
Here we go. No sick though, so still got the rest of the season.
After a hill climb, so I'm just going to net that and then chase it down with a pint of milk.
That's going to make you anxious.
So, time to look at some stats of the first Chard Wheelers hill climb. As I said, in my breathless state at the finish, I kind of sped up a bit too much at the end. You can see the power goes up loads there, up to like 500 watts. So I kind of held a bit too much back around the start, around here. My average power was, I don't know if you can see that, 392 for 6 minutes and 40-ish. So pretty good, but yeah, probably had really good legs that day and didn't really use them well enough because yeah, I just held too much back at the start And I was coming really strong in the last kind of 30 seconds a minute, and I should have opened the taps up a bit earlier around here maybe and just gone for it, but I held a bit too much back. So yeah, next week need to kind of get it all out.
It's Saturday and it is a beautiful day. It's the day before the first Chard Wheelers hill climb. However, for the last 3 or 4 days I've been hideously ill. I think in 2 days I've probably lost about 1.5 kilos, which is quite scary. I'd imagine it's mostly in water weight, but I've been trying to shove fluids and food down me just to try and offset that loss. I'm basically just out for a little poodle. So hopefully I'll be able to get this out of my system, get back into some good training, and yeah, find some form again.
As promised, we're doing a nutritional day in the life of a hill climber. Obviously that's going to start with breakfast. I'm pretty boring, so I just have like same breakfast every day. So let's see what it is. We've got a bowl for porridge. I put about that much in. Quarter of a bowl. Nuts for protein. How many are we going to go for? Quite a few. Almond nuts. Get my hands in there. A bit more kind of protein and fat. Pumpkin seeds. Finally, dates to make it a bit sweeter. How much should we go for? A couple more. Be generous. There we go. I don't measure it out, I don't weigh it out, I just kind of go for what looks about right. Fill it with water. 3 minutes. BikeRadar Staffer Jack Luke, what do you have for your hill climb breakfast?
I have a very sugary granola, some full fat yogurt and some nice frozen fruit, so absolutely no different to what I do every other day.
What an athlete. I'm not vegetarian, but I try and eat vegetarian food most of the time. I try and get about 20 grams of protein in each of the 3 main meals of the day. So along with my veggie curry, half an omelette that I made earlier, half of a 4-egg omelette. I'm just going to sit in there nicely at the top, just like that. Lunch is ready. Looking forward to it later. Lunchtime now. I've got my omelette and my curry with all the veg. I've also got Jack Luke with us.
Got a sweet potato chili with a solitary roasted garlic green pepper and some refried beans. Very fatty, very salty.
Also got 2 of the BikeRadar staff members with us. Josh Evans, Felix Smith. Felix has gone for a sandwich.
Very austere sandwich.
Yeah, very brown sandwich. Josh has gone for a salad. Very healthy.
It's interesting.
Got him.
It's not much of focus.
Tea's prep now. Show you what I made. Nothing very special. So we've got -2, a nice slice of sourdough bread. No butter though, but I have got in there mackerel, butter beans, onion, spinach, garlic, mushrooms, tomato. Tin of mackerel gives me about 20 grams of protein for recovery. Some nice carbs, some nice veg, yeah. Pretty basic, nothing very special during hill climbs, and that's kind of the sort of stuff I have every day. I'm really hungry now, so I'm going to go and eat it. Also like to have a nice little bit of dark chocolate after tea.
Every morning I start the day with porridge. Delicious. Usually with a bit of fruit, so dates. These are my absolute all-time favourite. Raisins. We have usually throw some seeds in there. So I've got sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, but it's really whatever I've got to hand in the cupboard. Throw in some mixed nuts, Lidl's finest, and a big dollop of crunchy peanut butter. Usually I'll have honey on top, or lately I bought some rice syrup as a honey alternative, but it's definitely not as nice as honey, so that's why I'm still eating honey. I'm home early today, so for lunch I'm having homemade, well, leftover homemade pizza. It's just pretty simple, doesn't look very nutritious, but it's pretty tasty. whole wheat base, tomato, spinach, peppers, bit of hummus, and some white stuff, which is vegan mayo. Tasty. It's blowing a hoolie today, but it's a double pizza kind of day. Been told a pizza place in town that does really good vegan pizzas, way better than mine, so I'm gonna go check them out. That pizza was great. Vegan cheese does taste a bit different, but it was still pretty good, way better than what I can do. Let me start by saying that these are just my own personal objective thoughts about going vegan. Now, I use air quotes because I am still eating honey. There are a lot of great things in honey and it's incredibly tasty, but I've completely cut out meat, dairy and eggs. I guess I'm getting close to about 2 months with the new diet, and in all honesty, it's not as hard as I was expecting. I thought it was going to be very difficult. There are some foods like eggs that I was eating nearly daily, so I was like, how am I going to cut out such a huge part of what I eat? But the reality of it is actually very different to my expectations previously. I'm not a great cook, I'm not really a creative cook, so most of my meals tend to be fairly similar. I leave all the creative stuff to my girlfriend because she's a much better cook than I am. One of the outcomes that was genuinely surprising was actually how much weight I lost, even within 1 or 2 weeks. I think I lost about 1.5 kilos just from cutting out dairy and eggs. And obviously with hill climbs, weight is everything. So if my weight dropped, but my power stayed the same, like that's absolutely golden. Although you want your power to go up and your weight to go down, but it's early season, we're not quite there yet. And one of the things with weight loss is you have to be careful about losing too much weight because then you lose too much power. However, in the early season, I had a pretty good weekend at Duke's Weekender, so it felt like I've maybe got the balance right. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, because I think one downside that I have noticed is that my recovery is a little bit slower. After a couple of big rides about 3 weeks ago, it took me a good 3 or 4 days to feel like my legs came back around afterwards. I don't know whether that's a diet thing or it was just a product of 3 or 4 days of pretty hard, long rides, but that's something I need to keep an eye on in the future. I've had a couple of friends ask me whether I'm going to stay vegan after hill climb season, and I think it's too early to say, but I'm quite enjoying the process of changing my diet, finding new foods to eat. Again, I'm not the most creative cook, so my dinners are, I'm not going to call them bland, but they're not the most appealing in terms of aesthetics. They're very functional, but I'm okay with that. I know some people like their food to look good and taste good. I just like my food to taste good. If you'd like to know anything else, keep asking. I'm happy to answer any questions you have around the subject. But equally, I'm looking for advice and knowledge myself around veganism because I'm new to it. So if anyone has any advice, especially I think the recovery thing, I'm all ears.
So that's our 3rd installment done. It was a truly brutal reintroduction to the world of hill climbing for me, and I think it's left Joe with unfinished business.
Yeah, that's true. But next week we're going to be covering our first triple header hill climb of the season. So we're going to be doing the Chew Valley hill climb on Saturday and the Reading CC double header on Sunday. Lots of people have asked in the comments about our warm-up routine before hill climbs, so we're going to be covering that as well.
And don't forget, if you've got any more questions, leave them in the comments, and don't forget to like or subscribe.
Bye!
Go, 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 let's go, 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 go!